Let's jump into part 1 of Canadian Railroad Trilogy. We're capoed at fret 3 for this one, and we're in dropped D tuning, the only altered tuning that Gordon Lightfoot ever really uses. So take your 6th string down to D and then capo up. You should find your D chord. Sounds roughly like that. And then we're going to kick off into the introduction, bars 1 to 6 of your tab. Just note in passing that Gordon Lightfoot plays this on a 12 string, if you're wondering why it sounds slightly different, but it'll work fine on a 6 string as well. Out of this D chord shape, we're going to pick the bass note. Rather than just get the bass end of the chord, although that will work, try and pick the actual string. This song works better if you flat pick it. In other words, pick an exact bass string and then go into strum. So it's 6, down, down, up, 6, down, down, up, out of that D chord. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a. Now he goes into some unusual time signatures, not because he deliberately wants to mess around with the time signature, but just because he plays these little riffs that naturally seem to fall into the time signature patterns that he creates here. So use your ear where you possibly can. Technically the next bar is in 3/4 time. Keeping hold of the D shape except for the index finger. Use the index finger to hammer the 5th string open to 2nd fret and then strum down up. Then do the same thing with the 4th string. Hammer to the 2nd fret, down up. Then you want 4th string open and 5th string open to 2nd fret. And that lick is actually going to resolve onto the first beat of the next bar, the open 4th string. So as I say, technically 3 beats. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 1 and that 1 being the first beat of bar 3. That's a normal D chord again. Technically it's only 2 beats. 4 down up 6 down up. 1 and a 2. Well, you can either go 2 E and a bass up down up or just bass down up. It really doesn't matter. Any strumming pattern that you're comfortable with will work. It's the bass notes that give the song its real flavour. As we come into bar 4, we're going to keep the ring finger where it is on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and we're going to hammer into this part of a C shape, 5th string 3rd fret and also 4th string 2nd fret. So hammer open to 3rd fret on the 5th string, but don't be afraid to let the index finger hammer on as well on the 4th string. And then down up, C add 9 is the chord technically, and then up, down, up. So that's a missed down strum there as we count 1 E and a, miss E and a. So the miss would be 2, the 2 beat. Then do almost the same thing with a hammer now on the 5th string open to 2nd fret. Ring finger stays where it is on the 2nd string. Hammer, down, up, miss, up, down, up. So that whole bar is 1 E and a, miss E and a, 3 E and a, miss E and a. That same rhythm continues in bar 5 as the index finger now goes to the 4th string, 2nd fret. Keep the ring finger where it is. You've got A7 sus4 now. 5, down, up, miss, up, down, up. On this D chord, he's going to get slightly syncopated here. The tab says this: 6 up, down, down, up, miss, up, and that last up is D major 7, a mini bar of the top 3 strings at the 2nd fret. 3 E and 4 E and a. Now that isn't the only way that you can strum it. It seems to be what he's doing, but if you watch him do this song live, he doesn't ever strum it exactly the same way twice. So if you find a way that you prefer to do that, then go ahead and do it. And it might involve that D major 7 chord not coming on the of 4, but coming on the first beat of its own bar, which is bar 6. But that's what he's doing. So, slightly complicated rhythmically, that bar 5 is 1, and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a. That D major 7 rings across the first beat of the next bar, and then we're going to go up. Now if you can, add the little finger on the first string 5th fret. That's what he does. Down, down, up, down, up. And then back to a normal D chord for a much more simple rhythm. 6, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 3 and a 4 E and a. Let me first of all play it slowly from bar 4. And I'm going to do it again with the count. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. It all sounds very complicated when we analyze it in detail like that. As you've heard me say so often if you've seen others of my lessons, I like to try and show you what the artist is actually playing, but don't get bogged down in a morass of detail. The important thing here is to get those hammer-ons on the C add 9 to G, get the bass notes through the next chord, A sus4 and D, and then feel free to either include the D major 7 or don't even worry about it. Certainly you don't need to worry about the little finger coming out unless you can do that easily. You can hear him do it on the record, but it's not essential. And strum any pattern on that final bar that adds up, final bar of the intro that adds up to 4 beats. Here's that intro again. And I think at the end there I slightly varied that strum pattern because it really doesn't matter. As long as it adds up to the right number of beats, it's all good. Now we get into the main song section of part 1, and we're going to strum across the top line of the song part, bars 7, 8 and 9, this. So it's D, exactly as we played it at the beginning of the intro. Bass, down, down, up, down, up. Now G major 7 over B looks like a very complicated chord name, but all he's doing here is taking this index finger from the 3rd string and putting it on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and play 5, down, down, up, down, up. Back to D again, 6, down, down, up, down, up. Technically it's a 2-beat bar, but he's just naturally feeling how he wants the lines to fit together. To bar 9, the final bar of that line, and the key thing here is to have this index finger in the middle of the bar come away and hammer back on the 3rd beat of the bar. So it doesn't matter exactly what you strum here. There I went bass, up, down, then take the finger off, down, up, and then the next down will be a hammer, down, down, up, down, up. 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a. It's all good as long as that index finger comes away somewhere in the first half of the bar and either hammers on or you just put it back down on the 3rd beat of the bar. There it is at speed, and with the vocal. There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the... Now to bar 10, and we're going to begin a descending run that sounds like this. That's bars 10, 11 and 12. So we were holding a D chord, add to it the 4th string at the 4th fret. Pick 4, down, down, up, down, up. Now 4th string, 2nd fret with your index finger coming away from the 3rd string. 4, down, down, up, down, up. Now it goes to the G major 7 over B chord we had before. It moves from the 4th string to the 5th string 2nd fret, 2 beat bar, 5 down, down, up, down, up. And now have it come to the 4th string 2nd fret, all the other fingers come away. 5 down, down, up again will be fine, and then hammer to the 2nd string 2nd fret to create an A7 chord. Down with the hammer, hammer down, down, up, down, up. But that hammer involves strumming all the strings. That whole bar slowly and with the count. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and with the vocal. When the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Now at bar 13 we get a sequence of 3 bars that's the same as the beginning of the vocal part. In other words, the same as bars 7, 8 and 9. Long before the white man and long before the wheel. When at the end of that line, because we're coming to the end of this section of the verse, the first part of the song, we're going to play at bar 16, D, 6 down, down, up, down, up. A normal A chord, 5 down, down, up, down, up. Then a normal C chord, 5 down, up, and then just this one finger chord, 5th string 2nd fret, 5 down, up. Optionally, by the way, you can stay on the C chord. I've watched him playing a couple of videos of playing this song live, and sometimes he adds that note in that we just looked at, and sometimes he just stays on C. So feel free to go either way. But the tab shows 5 down, up out of C and 5 down, up out of this G over B chord. We go back to a D as we conclude this verse in this part of the song. 6 down, down, up, down, up. And then you miss the next down and go to this one finger chord, the 2nd string at the 1st fret. And we're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So the bar in total is 6 down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. You notice where that chord is changing. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and That then repeats at bar 19. Before a bar of D that's going to link us into verse 2 of this section of the song. Here again it's all about the index finger coming off the 3rd string. So the strum pattern is going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And the 3 strums after the missed beat are the finger off. On, off, 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 on, off, off, off. And back again to bar 7 as we get into verse 2 of this section of the song, but the time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. Let me play it from bar 16, the end of this verse. When the dark green forest was too silent to be real, and back to bar 7 again for verse 2. Time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. You've got 2 more verses, the one we just touched on, time has no beginnings, and then and when the young man's fancy was turning to the spring. At the end of that verse, instead of going to the D to the one finger chord, jump straight from the C, G over B part to the D chord that you see at bar 21. Because you're going to come out of that verse with a bar of D that's exactly like we played it, for example, at bar 9. And then followed by a 2-beat bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And the next section of the song is going to be the next section of the song, right? Which we'll get into in the next video. So let me bring it as verse 3 ends and skips the D to the one finger chord. Many a fortune lost to one, many a debt to pay. 1, 2. And then you're into, oh, they look to the future which is going to be the next section. We'll get into that in the next video.